What's going on, guys? My name is Air Faded, and today I'm here to show you my drag tune setup for the 1988 Mitsubishi Starion. It's a 1300 plus horsepower rear-wheel drive build. Pretty solid build in my opinion, one of the better rear-wheel drive builds that I've gotten so far in Forza Horizon 5. Not too crazy horsepower wise, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I set it up and how to build it for yourself. Alright, so hopping on in, we'll start with the conversion tab. So if we go into engine swap, you can see that we're using the Racing 7.2 liter V8. There's a couple different engine swaps for this one that are pretty interesting, but the Racing 7.2 liter is what we're going with, as well as the twin turbo. Put those on, leaving it rear wheel drive. And then there's no aero kits at all, no front bumper or rear wing, I should say. You don't usually want those on drag cars. Drag tires, obviously you got to put those on. Leave the front tire width fine, but then upgrade the back to 285s. Be sure to upgrade the rear and front track width. It's always very important. And then for the tires or rims, you can go with any tires or rims that you want to go with. I personally chose to just leave the stock ones on. I think they look pretty good on the car as it is, and I think it matches the silverish gray kind of overall vibe of it, so I left them on. Then we'll swap over here to drivetrain. We got the clutch, race clutch obviously, race transmission, go ahead and install it in there, race driveline, and then drift differential. Now I saw somewhere, I don't know where, but I saw somewhere that the drift differential might shift a little bit harder and faster and better than the race differential, the race diff. And some of these other ones. I'm not sure overall it's going to make much of a difference, but hey, we'll try it. Now hopping over to platform and handling, we got the brakes, race brakes, rally suspension, obviously, got front anti-roll bars and the rear anti-roll bars, as well as full race weight reduction on this, and then no roll cage. And then hopping over to the engine, got the race fuel system, race ignition, race engine block, the race twin turbo setup, and the race intercooler, as well as the race flywheel. So there's not too many options on this engine to upgrade, but it will end up leaving you at 1,356 horsepower and about 2,600 pounds if you do everything, if you leave the stock wheels and everything like that. And so yeah, after that you're about ready to go. So let's take this to the track and figure out the tune. Alright, so now that we're at the festival, let's dive in and take a look at this tune here. So, for the tire pressure wise, 15 in the rear, 25 in the front. The front you can kind of adjust and play with and make it a little higher, a little lower if you want. And then here is the gearing. This is kind of the bread and butter of the whole build. So we got 230 final drive, 323 first gear, 205 second gear, 153 in the third, 115 fourth, 86, and then 81. You only really be using four gears in this build unless you're really doing some long highway pulls or something like that. But this is the main thing you'll want to copy down right here and pay attention to. And then alignment, we got all zeros and then 7 at the bottom. We have the front and rear anti-roll bars all the way stiff. We have the front springs set to 181 and the rear springs set to 511. And then the ride height all the way maxed out. We have the dampening with the front is at 1 all the way down, and the rear at 20 all the way up, and then the front and rear bump stiffness also all the way up at 20. No aero, 50 and 100 on the brake force and brake pressure. You can change this if you want to, but you can actually do pretty decent reverse burnouts anyways just with this if you just kind of know how to dump the clutch a little bit and do that. And then the differential is set to 100 on both the acceleration and deceleration. Alright, to launch this thing, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is hold the brake or the E-brake. I'm holding the E-brake right now, which is A, and just hold the throttle, and it'll automatically hold to almost 3,000 RPM, and then you just go ahead and release. And you'll do a little bit of a wheelie there, and then you got second gear that rides out pretty long, third, and then into fourth, where you'll go across the trap at a comfortable 215.08 miles per hour. That is just about it. Pretty solid build. Just kind of walk you guys through it once again from the launch. You just start from a complete standstill, hold the brake. Sometimes you will end up revving the whole RPM gauge like that, and then you'll be holding that like about 29 RPM. What does it actually say? 2,800 RPM if you look at your telemetry there. And then yeah, just go ahead and hold it and then release. And then second gear, you gotta be a little bit careful. It can get a little squirrely in second gear, but you can hold on to it pretty well, and it ends up revving out the RPMs pretty high, which is very effective. So this thing is pretty fast, guys. Very solid build. I'm going to show you guys what it does, or what it looks like if you were to do the quarter mile in this car. For those of you who don't know, 440 yards is the quarter mile, so you can set your destination to the speed trap at the end there, and just kind of line up with this pole here. And once it says 440, that's a quarter mile, and so you can kind of test out. My fastest quarter mile time that I ran in this car is a 7:22, which is what I timed it as. It's not through the event or anything like that, because I think the event, if you do the event drag races, the car launches a lot differently than if you just do it from free roam. So if you you know, just launch in free roam, you'll end up being a lot faster than the event. So let's give it a roll here. And there you have it, 186 across the line. Pretty solid, pretty fast build. I'm very happy with this. It's one of my favorite drag cars in this game so far. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll try to come out with some other builds, some other ideas. If you have any, drop them in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.